Okay, so I finished soldering on most of the components that aren't going anywhere, so capacitors, resistors, diodes, and the battery. I'm just going to point out some things that I think are important for anybody that's going to be making this kind of kit, or any kind of kit. I just want to compare it to this kit, which is a very solid kit from, I think, AD Labs or something, AS220 Labs. It's called the Noise Music 555. And I'm just going to show you what I have left to do here. It's not just the PCB that's cheap and crappy. Like, soldering this in was really tough because there's a film on the back of this, and it also covers some of the contacts. So you have to sort of melt it off, and it'll spit a little bit. So there's like these little spots all over here where the stuff has spit, and then I was finally able to get the solder on, not have a cold solder joint. Anyway, this board is pretty crap. But it's not just that, the kit is crap too. This has got a really nice thick board. And as you can see, the ICs, or integrated circuits, they are put in these little housings here, and those are the things that are actually soldered into the board. You don't put the circuits in themselves because they get damaged by heat very easily, and any shock will pretty much fry them. So I have my two chips here, the Win8072, which is kind of hard to source. I've tried to look it up. I got the other one here, it's an LM386N or something. Anyway, so these are my two chips, and they go in here and here, but the thing is, this kit does not come with any housings for them, so you have to solder super fast, and given that you sort of have to melt some of the lining or whatever, the coating off the board, it's pretty challenging. The other things I have yet to put in are what are known as variable resistors, this and this, then the mic, this, and the speaker. So this kit originally came with a microphone that looks like this. It's just a very small little thing. And it came with variable resistors that look like this. You have to use a screwdriver to actually turn them. And the switches look like this. I mentioned that in the first video, the switches. So I actually replaced them. The first thing I did before soldering in some of this stuff, I have an on-off switch. The variable resistors I've replaced with these really nice switches, but I'm going to have to get new knobs. I've replaced those little tiny switches there with these, and I've replaced the microphone input and output with quarter-inch jacks, so that you can plug in a guitar or any kind of patch cord into these and send it out to your amp. So that's what I did here. As you can see, I've got one on either end, input and output. So I'm going to stick with that style of things, but I'm not going to put these on yet because I want to make sure that I can find a new project box that will fit all this stuff. While this was, pretty decent for a first project, I didn't really put a lot of planning into how big I needed the box to be and how big my components were going to be. Basically because, like, these switches, so I'll just do this from on top like this. These switches, they start up here, and the part beneath goes to about here. So they're pretty big. So having enough room for the battery became a real issue, and, well, there's lots of issues with that project. Anyway, I just want to show you where I'm at with this project so far, and make some comments so that anybody else who's trying to make modifications to a board that they're working on will be able to, I don't know, maybe learn something. Okay, so hopefully I'll be back with a bunch of new stuff next time you see a video.